The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Hey, welcome to Sin City Bounty. I'm Alexia.
I'm Taxi.
And we've got some great stories for you tonight. Plus, we got a little bit of news, maybe.
We'll hit up some news. We'll definitely, we'll get into that. Before we get into these awesome masturbation stories, did you hear what happened today in our governmental...
That they fired the FBI director? That story?
Yes, yeah. That story.
Yeah, I did hear about that. What do you think of that?
In one way, I'm not surprised.
No.
I'm not. But on the other hand, firing somebody that is investigating you, I don't know. I don't know if I would...
Shouldn't he have been fired when I don't like Comey anyway, because of the whole thing with the emails and all that stuff, but I don't know. I just know that since he is in charge of investigating the White House for their ties to Russia, and now that he's been fired, there was a great tweet that was put out. I can't remember off the top of my head who put it up, but it listed the three people who were investigating the Trump administration, and then the three people who have been fired by the Trump administration, and guess what? They're one and the same. So, definitely does not look good.
I don't know. I don't...
It's just another layer onto the crap that we're putting up with this administration, I think.
Right. They brought up good points. I read the letter. I read the termination letter and the recommendation letters attached with it. They brought up some very valid points. There were a lot of missteps in his career, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I think similar things have happened in history before, like Nixon.
That's the parallel that a lot of people are drawing from this,
right?
That I've been reading about is very Nixonian, as it were. Did you happen to watch Sally Yates in front of the committee yesterday?
I did not.
She, I want her dressed as Wonder Woman on a T-shirt. I really like Sally Yates.
Wait, she had Wonder Woman on her T-shirt?
No. I want her dressed as Wonder Woman on my T-shirt.
Got it. Okay.
She was pretty awesome.
I did see something today. I didn't read through it where it said she's like the new Democrat darling.
She is.
So.
She put up with all of their ridiculous and stupid questions, answered them pointedly and intelligently, and was able to insult them at the same time.
And a couple of them look like real fools.
That is awesome.
Now, for those of you who don't remember, Sally Yates was the Attorney General that... Attorney General, right? That
acting Attorney General
that shut down the no Muslim fly.
No, she said that the Justice Department was not going to
support it. That's right.
Support
Trump's edict on no-fly Muslims. But then she made a complaint to the administration about Michael Flynn, saying this guy is susceptible to bribery. You really need to figure something out. And then Pence got the whole where he didn't know he was lying, quote unquote, didn't know he was lying, and then she was fired.
Didn't it come out? And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't it come out in these meetings? Or is it meeting? What do you term it?
Hearings.
Where there are the hearings. Thank you. Didn't it come out that Obama warned them.
Yes.
Everybody warned them.
Yes.
So when it came out that Michael Flynn wasn't a good fit and he was a bad choice, he turned it around. Trump tweeted even saying, why did the Obama administration give him highest level clearance?
But he didn't have the highest level clearance. He had a security clearance, but not the one that you get when you become a staff member at the White House.
Right.
And that's what the Trump administration did not do. I had a security clearance. I had a secret clearance when I was in the military. But if I had gone to work at the White House, they would have vetted me like nobody's business, man.
Right.
They stick a thing up your butt and look at you from the inside.
He had been fired from the Obama administration. Right?
Was it the Obama or the Bush?
Clinton?
I thought it was
from the Obama administration.
Yeah, he was.
But I mean, that you don't even need to vet to know that. Vetting is finding out all of the secret stuff, right?
I think the Trump administration has been using the same people who vetted Sarah Palin.
Sarah Palin. I miss her now. I miss her.
Doesn't she
Where
have her
are
own
you, Sarah
TV
Palin?
show on the internet somewhere?
I don't know.
Or she did for a while.
Oh, Sarah.
You should get her into the WWDB
No,
TV
thank
studio,
you.
no?
No.
Come on, that would be great.
I don't want our ratings to drop.
Put her at 1 o'clock right against veterans and politics.
Oh, yeah. I would love to have her on Steve's show. No, I'd have her on my show.
Speaking of shows, one of our favorite people, Locke Fortune, who's been on this show doing his tarot readings and his numerology, author of the book Vibology, is getting his own show right here on WWDB TV. Yay, I'm so excited. And I don't know what day. I forgot. I didn't pick it up off the sheet.
He will be officially starting June 1st.
June
It'll
1st.
Be on Thursday afternoon.
Go to his page, A Fortune on Wheels, on Facebook. He's got a little survey there about what he wants to name his show. He is not going to announce it until tomorrow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We're excited.
That's awesome.
We're excited.
So I'm very, very excited for him.
So welcome to the family.
I mean, we're getting some real quality shows.
Yeah.
Not just a bunch of talking heads.
We should let them know that, like, whenever someone new comes in, they normally bring the hosts of Sin City Bounty presents and food. I don't know if we can make that across, known to people.
You sent it to her, huh?
What's
the
that?
little taco ring?
I posted
she shared it, yeah.
That was our social media post for the day.
I saw it.
My only thought in that little taco ring was like, what the fuck am I going to do with that? Like, that is a bite of taco. That's a snort of taco.
What was it last week we were talking about? The creepy guy that was at the club.
Oh, yeah.
But if he would have had tacos, she would have been okay.
I might have changed.
It would have been okay.
Yeah.
I might have considered it. Someone sent me a picture of tacos right before we came on.
Right.
And it's like,
Wait,
homemade
were
meal.
they real tacos?
Real
tacos?
Yeah, it was homemade. It was like their dinner. And I
Why
got a
would they-
little turned on.
Why would they tease you like that?
I don't
though?
know. I got really excited. Like, I'm so little turned on.
I used to do, I usually send messages on Facebook because I don't like posting on their wall because it gets lost in the flurry of happy birthday posts on a wall. So I usually send them messages, private messages, and depending on how much I like you depends on how many pictures you get.
Wait, my birthday message didn't even have a picture.
So I used to, I would download all these great pictures of happy birthday things, and there were always great pictures of cakes. And then somebody sent me a picture of a cake one year, and I said, "What the fuck are you sending me a picture
I never
of a
got
cake
that.
for?"
Right. I never got that.
So those have been all deleted from my...
Good.
Except for there's a few that look like certain things that are
Right.
perfect for some certain friends of mine, so I keep those. But everything else, it's...
People stop sending the birthday cake photos. I don't get that either. Because then I'm like sitting at home with my fucking Vaughn's cake like, happy birthday to me, but your cake looks delicious.
Or Or if you can't have your own cake for some reason, what are you eating? Like crackers, saltines,
Right.
and you're staring at this beautiful German chocolate cake, and you're going, "Fuck you, motherfucker!"
Like, thanks for that beautiful photo of a cake. You wanna find your way to my heart? Like, bring me a slice of that fucker.
Fernie
I had
says,
strawberry Pop-Tarts for my birthday.
"Strawberry Pop-Tarts are good, though."
With the
I could
icing on
deal.
it
Yes.
and the sprinkles.
Fernie says, "Do you need me to make y'all another cake?"
Cake is always welcome. I will
Fernie,
never
you
turn
are
down
always
cake.
welcome. If you are not doing anything and you want to come and hang out in the studio with us and your food, you're more than welcome to come.
You know when and where. And even if you don't have food, we will still welcome you in.
But because here's the thing, Fernie, if she were to show up, just out of the blue show up, it would not be crashing because she would bring food, right?
Right.
So if you decide you want to crash us at the studio, make sure you have food, and we're good to go.
And even better if you have tacos. I mean,
I'm working on a potential show / advertiser called Dem Knowles Boys. They've got a little place over on Vegas Drive and Jones, and it's actually inside a mobile station. You know, it's like one of those kind of lunch counter things there. The food is phenomenal.
What kind of
do
food?
they have tacos?
They have hamburgers, pizza, Asian food, sushi, ribs, burgers, chicken fingers, chicken.
I'm
wings.
in.
At a gas station?
I'm in. Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
We have a lot more of those.
AM was my best friend for a while.
Yeah,
Well-
but no. I'm telling you, this food was good. They got crawdads. They got just you name it, man. It's they were in here a couple months ago and brought the food in.
I love fast food. I don't know how people can do without fast food.
Well,
This is not
it's
fast
it's not-
food.
some
I mean,
of-
I was blown away when I went over there and saw the place, because I thought from the food they brought in was a nice sit-down restaurant and stuff. I mean, not that it's not a nice place. I mean, but it's like, you know, like a sandwich shop or kind of like a Subway type deal. But the food
Right.
that they put out of that place was like, wow.
You know, back home there's a lot more. You see a lot more like hoagie shops and stuff in with gas stations. But we have a place called Sheetz. And again, this is SHEETZ. And you go in and you like go on this computer and you're like,
Is that like a foreigner saying shits?
I know. It's Sheetz. It's a gas station. Like, I bought a pair of sunglasses there that I wear all the time. And lotto tickets. It's great. And so you go on and on this little board and you're like, I want a burger and I want this and I want fries. And the food is delicious. But some of the best food, like someplace down on Sahara used to sell like ribs and shit. You would see them outside.
That place is
Do you know
awesome.
what I'm talking
Chicken and
about?
Veg, yeah, it's a-
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
Better Chicken. It's right
Yeah.
down on Sahara, and it was right down the street from the old KLAB studio.
Yes,
Right
that's
there
it.
in
That's it.
Sahara
And you
Jones
can
or-
you can see the guy outside like smoking the ribs and
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
That place is always packed.
And it's in a gas station, so you can go in, you can get gas, you can buy some condoms, you can pick up a soda, and then you get yourself some ribs. I mean, that's the making of a great night, right there. Sorry, I got too excited about gas station food.
We've been talking about food for like a half an hour. I think we're hungry.
I know I am. So, see, Nashoba loves Sheets, and don't forget about Wawa. We also have, of course, I'm sure you know Turkey Hill. And Turkey Hill, you know, has the delicious iced tea, and they have their little, like, burgers and stuff in the back on the things, but yeah.
Wawa.
Wawa, yeah. Wawa.
Kill me for asking this. What is a Wawa?
It's a gas station.
Oh.
It's like a Piggly Wiggly if you were from down south.
Or a Dog and Suds.
A dog and suds?
Dog and Suds. That's a hot dog hamburger place. Drive-in.
I'm a
Florida.
totally West American person.
You have to be. Have
Hey,
you
did you know
ever?
there's a Tommy's? There's 2 Tommy's in towns now.
Tommy's is disgusting. That shit is made by the devil. The devil. I don't even have to. The chili shit from Tommy's, like, doesn't even. you have to eat it in the bathroom. That's all I'll say. Just eat it in the bathroom and save yourself. No. I can't deal with Tommy's.
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
And
I'd rather
yes.
eat there than Denny's.
No, I mean,
However, wait. One thing about Denny's that I found, and this was, if you want a really good banana split, go to Denny's over on Sahara, just right about Cimarron.
Are you taking us out to dinner after this?
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel that's where this is headed.
Maybe tomorrow.
I feel it's where we're going here.
I ordered a banana split off of the menu, and this was when we were over at the other station. Remember the good old days? And so we ran over to Denny's to get something to eat, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to order a banana split, because you look on the menu and it's just it looked like it was just a little bitty thing, and when they brought it, that sucker was huge, and it was like $4.50, and it was like I ate half of it and took the other half back to the studio, stuck it in the freezer, and ate it later that night.
Tim said my favorite.
You guys have a show to do or something?
Right? We're so hungry now, too. Tim said my favorite restaurants growing up are all secret places, for sure. Nashoba said you can get Turkey Hill ice cream at Smith's.
What the hell is Turkey Hill ice cream?
Turkey Hill's a place back east.
Oh.
And
It's not like turkey flavored ice cream?
no, it's different flavor ice cream. And if you go tell my kid that they sell Turkey Hill ice cream, she will go nuts. So we will not mention that at all.
Do you know, do you personally, since you are a back east person, do you know what are restaurants here in Nevada that come from back east? Or what are places from back east that are here now?
Oh, gosh.
White Castle?
White Castle's more south, I think. Or maybe in New York.
It would still be east.
I didn't have a White Castle
It would
around
still be
me.
east, right?
Yeah. So anything from that, I'm just saying my area, we didn't have a White Castle.
Is Tommy's from the east?
No. Tommy's is from California.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a California
In and
place.
Out is from California.
Right. Denny's is all over. See, back there we have Perkins, we have
Do you get excited when you hear about anything opening here that is from back east?
Well,
or
I got excited-
like products that come from back east that
yeah,
you see here?
the first time I found Turkey Hill iced tea in a grocery store, I like shit my I stopped in the grocery store.
Had you just been to Tommy's?
Yeah, that could be why. I stopped at Tommy's on the way. But I freaked out the first time I saw it. Or anytime I find like Hirsch chips, Weiss chips I get at, Capriati's, sometimes even Big Lots. But anytime I find, just like little things or tasty cakes or something, I get excited. Cracker Barrel's new here. And
but is it from back east?
Well, I also lived down south briefly, so I knew it.
Arkansas, in that area, there's a lot of them around there.
I knew
Arkansas
it
is the
from
middle of the country. It's not south.
Well, I knew it from when I lived in Alabama.
Arkansas is in the south.
But they have them all over. They have them all over there.
Nashoba says IHOP. Tim says Shake Shack. Fernie says they call Carl's Jr. Hardee's.
They're Hardee's back there.
Nashoba says Dunkin' Donuts. Vendetta says Burger King is from Florida and Shake Shack is the shit.
Yeah. Oh, Dunkin' Donuts for sure. That's
it back
true.
east thing?
Yeah. Dunkin' Donuts is. That was one place where I also freaked when they came here. I knew also Krispy Kreme when they first came when I lived in California. I knew them from when I lived in Alabama. But Dunkin' Donuts. It's not quite the same.
Since
but it's
Vegas is
still
usually
good.
made up of people from all over the country, I can see why people go nuts when they. And I look at them and I go, why are you going crazy over this thing? And it's because that's what they grew up with.
Right, and it tastes like home. I mean, that's why the White Castle, goes
What about
crazy.
the Chick-fil-A? I've heard
Chick-fil-A's,
nothing but bad things about
Chick-fil-A's, I don't know, from wherever Jesus is at. That's where Chick-fil-A came from.
The Southern
Chick-fil-A
Baptist
is a
Jesus.
Muslim?
Just so you know, it's the Southern Baptist Jesus.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
necessarily the Mediterranean
Gotcha.
love your neighbor
Gotcha.
guy.
Right. I assume Utah.
Okay. You mean the Republican Jesus?
Yeah, Republican Jesus.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A's from Republican Jesus. That's it. That's for sure. They're closed on Sundays. They used to. They don't anymore. You know, I'll eat there now.
Sorry, can't
But
heal you. You've got a pre-existing condition.
right, don't come here.
A new listener, Kelly, says a Farm Basket. Didn't all the Farm Baskets close down here,
Yeah, there
though?
was a chicken place, right?
Yeah.
They were the
yeah,
chicken
yeah.
place, yeah.
Wasn't there one on Decatur?
I don't know. The only one I
I've
knew
never
was
been
on
there.
DI, and
The
that's
best
closed
restaurant
down.
on Decatur.
Pat's?
Pops.
Pops. Thank
Yeah.
you. I don't know why Pat's.
That's the hook.
It's the
Philly
cheesesteak.
Philly cheesesteak.
They
Yeah,
are, phenomenal. Man,
Yeah.
there's nothing like them.
That's the
Nothing
closest you're
yeah,
gonna
nothing
get
this side of
to.
Philly.
Yeah. It's good.
Can we stop talking about food?
I'm so hungry. Can someone bring us food? Please. I think I
So
just
welcome
spit.
to
I
Sin
got
City
so excited
Bounty's
about food.
food porno episode.
It is the food porno episode.
Because after we talk about food, we should lead right into masturbation.
I think we should. Before we do that, just so you know, for the whole month of May, if you send us your masturbation stories, we will read them on the air. You can also call. We have a Sin City Bounty phone number, which I always forget, so I have to write it down. It's 702-530-2156. And if you call that number, no phones will ring, but you can leave a message. We've had 2 calls this week, and nobody left a message.
Right. I saw the calls.
Right.
come up.
Leave the message, and we will leave your story, tell your story into the message thing, and we will play it on the air so you can hear your own voice over
Hey,
the
if you
airwaves.
can record it, we'll bring it in. We can play it.
That's what I mean. Or we can pull it right up on the computer for you to play
Okay.
it. So,
Cool.
so you can call that number, 702-530-2156. I'm going to give you a backer for here to put our phone number up. Or you can email them to sincitybounty@gmail.com, or you can just message us right on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can message Toxie personally if you want her to read your masturbation story first. You have a lot of fans, I have to say. Sometimes I get a little jealous. They're like, "Oh, that Toxie, she's so beautiful." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up."
You just have to respond and tell them, but she's fucking crazy. And
No.
That's
No, they don't. They
right
don't tell
there.
me, which is great.
Right.
It's just the messages and the notes and the comments and stuff like that, which is great. We know that Toxie is the face of the show, right? But every once in a while, it would do. Someone. Vendetta takes care of me. I
was just going to say, you got flowers, woman.
I did. Vendetta makes
You
me
got
feel
flowers.
sweet all the time. Okay.
I get 3 a.m. calls from strangers in foreign countries. You got flowers.
And that is the price that you motherfucking pay.
Sometimes it happens at such random times that my kid is like, are those weirdos calling you again? Because it makes a weird ring. And so, the first time it happened, I'm like, here's what happens. And so, whenever we hear her, she's like, those weirdos are calling you. Don't call me. Please, don't call me.
Even if you don't have an embarrassing masturbation story and you just want to call and leave us a message, if we deem it good enough, we'll play it on the air too.
We will.
I listen to a lot of podcasts where they have a phone number and they play messages on the air. I love that. I love that kind
We
of
should
stuff.
have people call in at some point. It would be a different number.
Here on this show?
Right.
While we're live?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So the reason that we don't do a lot of call-ins on the show, unless it's a guest or it's
Pre-planned.
we're set pre-planned, is because we know that calls have a tendency to take us off topic. And we already have enough problems as it is staying on topic. But to have someone call in just randomly on the air to talk about the length of their penis or what have you can get a little crazy.
But we should set up, here's what we should do. Here's what I'd love for a future episode for anyone listening who is interested. Let's do one where they can just ask advice. We get people who direct message us asking advice. We've shared some on the show, but right, but they can call in and ask and then get our immediate response. But we set up a time.
We can
and
plan.
We'll do an episode.
We can plan a call-in show.
An advice show. Wouldn't that be great?
Do you want to limit it to any kind of advice or
Any kind. Any kind at all.
All right. Or just answer a question. Doesn't have to be advice. Just answer a
That's
question.
it.
Right?
Well, not
A Q&A.
all questions.
We'll call it a Q&A.
There you go.
All right. So that was all I wanted to do before we started reading masturbation stories. Do you said you had two besides the two we got in the emails.
I have two that I received directly. Tim said, I'm starting to realize the pattern in my life. I have many awkward masturbation stories. That is awesome. Would you like me to start out with mine?
Yeah.
So it's not actually that embarrassing, but it's a little. It didn't happen during masturbation, but I used to keep my toys in a little bag, and it was often next to the bed on the side. And so one time when my daughter was little, her dad was coming home from work, and we decided we were going to run in and hide in the bedroom and scare him. So when he came in the room, like we were going to jump out from the side of the bed and just scare the shit out of him. So we're laying there, and
you were going to prank your ex-husband.
Yes, because it used to happen to me all the time. So it was very rare I could actually get a little prank in. But it was more, it was more fun for my kid. I mean, she was little, So we're laying there, and I kick my leg back, trying to hide to make sure I was down far enough. And all of a sudden, you started to hear zzzz. And I had kicked the bag and turned on one of the vibrators, like one that has, the buttons on the front. And so my child is going, what is that? What's in there? And trying to get the bag. And I'm going, no, it's nothing. And so anyway, she didn't get in the bag, but she's standing there staring at this nondescript black bag that's just, vibrating. And that was it. And we didn't get to prank my ex because
you were too worried about her
I was
getting
too
the
worried
bag.
I was too worried about, getting the bag. Or if he came in, he would make it like 10 times worse. So he would be more like, tell her what's in there. What is it? What's in there? Is it a toy? Is it a Christmas present? What's in there? So that was, that was my own.
All right, so I'll read the first one.
Okay.
Since you told yours,
yes.
Give you a little break. So this comes from a longtime fan, Chris, who's been a fan of ours since before I left and then came back.
Wait, what happened to we won't use your name? By Chris,
it's just
we mean
his first name.
Bob.
I'm sure there are about, 1,000 Chris's that like our show. We have a lot of listeners, which we love you guys.
Thank you.
Was about to go on a date with a nice curvy lady. I was masturbating to take the edge off before the date. I was masturbating with some lube in the bathroom. I guess I was taking too long, so the lady came upstairs to check on me, and I jizzed onto the toilet seat, turned to the door, opening to see my date standing in the doorway. I jumped, screamed in embarrassment, and then just said, well, at least I hit the bowl. In case you were curious, we went on the date and have been together ever since.
That's pretty awesome.
That's a pretty awesome story. I think if you can be together in the whole masturbation thing, it helps your relationship,
Right. Although I'm wondering, was it a first date? And would that I don't know if that would even throw me off in a first date if I walked in and he was masturbating. I don't know. I'd probably say, can I come watch?
I would probably, if he didn't see me when I first walked in, I would slowly back out and close the door just enough so I could watch.
You wouldn't be like, what the hell are you doing?
No, I'm such a voyeur. Why do you think I go to the Red Rooster with you guys all the time? I love watching all of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm more of a voyeur as well.
I have literally pulled up a chair and had a tub of popcorn, watching a couple people go at it. So. Literally.
I'll share mine really quick just because they're nice and short, both of them, because I know the next one is
very long.
Quite a story.
We're going to tag team it.
All right. One gentleman, when I was a kid, my mom got mad at me because I would go through boxes of Kleenex. So after a while, I just decided to start coming in old tennis ball canisters, since I was able to hide that in my room. And he would wash it out every once in a while. He also had one where there was one time at a sex club, and there was a contest to see who could masturbate and shoot their load the farthest, and he took first place.
That was wait. Say that last story again.
That he was at a sex club. There was a contest to see who could masturbate and shoot the furthest, and he took first place.
I didn't hear the word sex club.
Got it. What did you hear?
I'm just thinking. No, I didn't hear it at all. And all
Grocery
I heard
store.
was there was a contest to see, and I'm like, where the fuck was this contest at?
Best contest ever.
That's the next Saturday night movie night game. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yes.
This is from Anonymous, so no name on this one. My wife and I moved to California and had recently purchased a new home. We had opted for a new house that was being built as it had a full warranty. This decision was made that we didn't really have the funds to pay for a lot of costly repairs on an older house should any problems arise. We were excited to move into a home that had never been lived in before. We installed a routine of chores to try and maintain the newness of our home. No shoes on the carpet, sometimes that lead being transferred onto the carpet. Cleaning every Sunday morning and tending to the garden weekly were a few. We also implemented cost-saving strategies in order to alleviate financial strain, such as moving to a smaller, cheaper trash can. Yes, you can do that. I've done that several times in my house because the trash starts to smell if they're too big. Avoiding putting on the AC and taking in our own recycling for cash as opposed for using the county's recycling bins. My wife had graduated and was working, and while I was applying to universities for graduate school and also part-time jobs. I can't remember the month as per se, but it was quite hot, so around the summertime, around 90 to 100 degrees.
So the incident in question. It began like any other day. My wife woke up and headed out to work. I grabbed the local paper and checked online job sites in order to pick which employers would be honored with my application that day. As I sat on the chair in front of my computer screen hour after hour, I must admit, my mind sometimes wandered off in the realm of the unsavory.
As it does with most people.
Most of the time, my mental fortitude prevailed, and my mind was kept busy with preparations of my future. One Friday, however, the temptation proved too much. Perhaps it was the heat, maybe the thought of the inevitable weekend chores that haunted me. But I was excited out of my application process, but I exited out of my application process and delved into the world of the underbelly.
The underbelly. Dun, dun, dun. I'll save you the manner in which I occupy my mind during these unscripted exercises, but needless to say, I knew I was in the mood for and arrived ready to conduct business. I pulled up my favorite sites and began to scroll through, indulging my desires. It wasn't long before my right arm moved south, and I started the ritual of masturbation. I was really into it, letting go of the tension and stress that had built up from being on the computer all day. And it wasn't long before I started to get close. Now, I've never really performed this particular act before, but for some reason, I stood up and turned away from the computer and began to increase my focus and pace. It was kind of like a lead guitar player who moves to the front of a stage to perform his solo riff. Knees slightly bent, hips out, and I was strumming away on my organ. Then it hit. I began to come and it was intense. I don't know if I had been drinking a lot of water or not, but think of a clown pulling those colorful handkerchiefs out of their sleeve. It just kept coming and coming. Finally, it subdued, and as I stood there, I had almost an out-of-body experience, but not in a good way. I suddenly became aware of my actions, and I was appalled at myself for such lack of control. I mean, millions of years of evolution, and look at me, yanking on myself like a safari park chimp. My shirt, my shoes, shorts were soaking wet with sweat. My legs and right arm, I'm getting nervous already. My legs and right arm twitching as they struggled to resupply themselves with oxygen. I then struggled out of the room and over to the shower with all of the energy of cyclists. that had just completed the final Tour de France. I showered and headed out to the shops in order to get some groceries, hoping to wipe the ordeal from my mind.
The day after, my wife took off for work, and I began to browse interview time for my potential new jobs and visits to universities that would advance my education. It was around 11 a.m., and my wife called to say she was having lunch with the real estate agent, and the real estate agent wanted to stop by and give us a gift. I told her noon would be fine. Needless to say, the time flew past, and I hear the girls enter the house. I shouted down that I was finishing a letter to a university and was kind of on a roll. I'll be down in a bit. Next thing I knew, they came up the stairs. My wife went into our bedroom, the agent into ours. I said hi, and she began to ask how things were going, then stopped mid-sentence. I looked over, and she was moving her foot around on the carpet. I then realized she must have worn sandals, and following house rules, she was barefoot in what was yesterday's splash zone. Carpet feels weird, she announced. I stared in dread. Then my wife came in and got on her hands and knees, she had socks on, and began running her hand around the carpet. They chatted. I was frozen to the chair. They tried to engage me as to what this could possibly be on a brand new carpet. I can't read that one.
Clearly, I can answer that.
Clearly, I could answer that, but receded into my chair. Now, I felt bad. The day before, I was at a new level of guilt. The real estate agent waving her foot back and forth like she was on the side of the pool, testing the water temperature with her foot, and my wife on her hands and knees moving her hand in circles as if slowly washing a window. It was at that point fight or flight kicked in, and my first reaction was flight. I'll go get the kettle on then. Anyone for a cup of tea? I left the room carrying an elephant of guilt on my back.
Closure. So I'm sure you are inquisitive, but I can assure you the carpet made a full recovery. But me, not so much. I still have a feeling of guilt after masturbation. So sharing this is not just a story but therapy. And I'm hoping that being out there, there was help with closure. So thank you for indulging in my masturbation nightmare. Real estate agent. Don't you clean up after yourself? I mean, women don't have to worry too much, right? You put on a pair of underwear, soaks in the panties, put them in the
Well, we have, if you recall, when my friend came on the show, my childhood friend, they created a splash zone in their hotel room because it was so intense. So, I don't know.
From masturbating?
Well, from sex.
From sex.
Right.
I'm talking about
But it's still
masturbation.
the same product coming out. Doesn't change.
Okay. I'm just saying. If I were to masturbate in my office and soaked my office chair, you know my ass is getting some kind of cleaner and cleaning that fucking chair.
Right. But I mean, maybe he wiped up and thought it'll air dry.
But that doesn't make as good a story.
Right?
It does not.
I'm also pretty sure it wasn't like a pool of jizz.
But
like it wasn't like a little lake in the bedroom full of
Wait, if it
jizz.
was still wet the next day?
Then it was a really heavy load. Maybe it was from the
Which he didn't even think to clean up.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, please. That's all I'm saying.
Clean up after yourself.
Clean up after yourself. That's all I'm saying.
So, we have another one on here. I have a similar story. I was around 16 or 17, and my mom had just come home from seeing her husband in another state. She hadn't unpacked yet, and one of her backpacks was on the bed. I didn't see it when I went to sit down and talk with her when I apparently sat on it, and there was suddenly obviously multiple objects vibrating. My mom and I stared at each other for a solid minute before we burst out laughing. There was, Tim said it was probably crusty and not wet. And then I have one more quick one, very short.
Okay.
But it's from a gentleman and this happened at home, and said, I was jerking off. My mom walked in right at the most pivotal moment of that session. I was coming while she was talking to me, and it was horrible.
Wait, was it like out in the open?
No.
Under the sheets?
Yeah. So she's probably in there going, "What would you like for dinner?"
Did you pick up your sister from school today?
So those are all stories from guys?
Yeah.
Two from women. Mine and
two from
another
women?
one.
Very
yes.
cool.
And then someone said you can lose track sometimes. I once hit the wall behind me and didn't know for a day after.
Oh.
That's true. That's the one I shared.
Oh, okay. All right. So there's a couple things that we want to tell you. We've only got 5 minutes left. Do you know that?
Nice.
Less than 5 now, but very cool, huh?
Very cool.
Very fast show.
Love the masturbation stories. Send
Love them.
more.
Keep them in. All for May.
The reason we're talking about masturbation stories is because May is Masturbation Month.
Masturbation Month. We'll be posting about that all week. There's a great scientific reason why you should masturbate. Just so you know, check out our wall on Facebook for the ASAP Science video of all the great things that masturbating does for you.
Good for the prostate.
That's right.
Yes.
It helps prevent prostate cancer.
I had a friend who just he would not masturbate. And the doctor even told him, like, you need to for your prostate. Like, you need to.
Wrote him out a prescription.
Yeah. Basically,
3
like,
times a
here
day,
you go.
As needed.
So, yeah.
Okay. A couple things that I want to touch on. Toxie has a new blog post up. A lot of you have read it already. I know that you have. It's called Online Dating, where she mentions hashtag Anthony Weiner, hashtag the accountant. You had a lot of hashtags in this one story.
I did. I picked the top 10.
Right. Hashtag the magician, hashtag hey stranger, till death do us part, frequent flyer, clock watcher, prop master. That was the one that killed me, the prop master guy. Al Bundy and Ashley Madison, and of course you can probably guess what that one is. But there's also stories up there that have their own blog posts. That's ICU, The Felon, and Jizz in the Eye. So she is asking for your hashtag dates, your horrible dates. So go onto our website and you can go to Toxie's blog and read the story of the online dating and maybe give her some insight into yours.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking for some insight is I published what I felt was the top 10 guys you find when dating online that you encounter, on there. I want to hear what type of women guys encounter. So I would definitely like feedback. I mean, I realize I probably fall in quite a few categories. Maybe some not so good, maybe some all right. But yeah, I definitely like to hear from you.
What categories do you think you fall in?
I am not sharing what I feel I fall into.
Hashtag the flirt. I would call you the flirt.
Right. I'm certain. Here's my whole thing. I'm a firm believer that their perception isn't my truth. So I don't really want to know, to be honest. Like, nobody has to reach out to me and go, I would hashtag you this and it's really horrible. Because I don't need I don't want their perception to.
Yeah, send those to me instead.
Feel free. Okay, send them to me if you want. I don't care.
Mine would be hashtag condescending. Hashtag know-it-all.
But just the different types, the different types of women you encounter. I already had somebody tell me, like, one is they often, after they start dating, find themselves homeless and, like, immediately want a place to stay. So, which is something I can't imagine, but apparently it happens.
It does happen. I've read many of those stories.
So those, I want to hear those. So ToxieSinCityBounty.com. No, ToxieSinCityBounty@gmail.com or SinCityBounty@gmail.com or my Toxie page on Facebook.
Yep.
I got it all.
You did get it all.
Or you can call in and leave it on our voicemail.
A couple more things. We've got less than a minute left. There is now a PayPal button on our website, so you can donate to the cause if you like our show and want to keep us on the air. We do a lot of work, and thanks to John for all that he does for us. But now you can contribute. It's a one-time thing. You don't have to give any more than $1. I think it is the lowest level that I have, but it does go up to $1,000. So if you want to give us $1,000, we're good with that.
And if you don't donate, we're going to shoot this dog.
No, we're not shooting any dogs in the making of this video. We also have a Patreon coming up very soon. I've taxed the ladies to help me come up with the names of the sponsorship levels. We were going to go with BBW terms, but then we went to, I think I like the desserts.
Right, different desserts. I'm good with that.
Tiramisu is going to be up there at the top, I think, for top tier, where you can donate monthly.
Tiramisu.
I love tiramisu, but it's got coffee in it. That's probably why. So.
Yeah, that's why.
Unless you have any suggestions, but we can name those things. I was hoping Sierra would come up with some clean curse words, as it were. But. And then I was thinking about your hashtags as well, but I don't know if somebody would want to be known as Anthony Weiner, hashtag Anthony Weiner. So we've got a lot of changes coming up when it comes to our social media and website, so stay tuned for there. Download us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, or you can subscribe by email, but if you do one of the 3 apps, it automatically comes to your phone.
It does.
And you never have to worry about if you're going to miss an episode, so...
Like us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Add us. What is it on Instagram? What do? You add?
Follow us.
Follow us.
Follow us.
There you go. Follow us on Instagram.
And on Twitter.
And Twitter.
And like us on Facebook.
And like us on Facebook. There you
We're
go.
also on Google Play.
Are we?
Or Google Plus.
Right.
Google Plus. I just post there. I never go there.
Yeah.
This is Alexia.
Toxie.
And we will see you next week if you're brave enough.
Later, bitches!